writing books is really not about selling your book. When I was a kid, I used to think, oh gosh, I'm really important because I'm writing books. People are giving me accolades and all of that, but when I go through this journey and I look at everybody that's trying to publish books, there's this feeling that comes over them. And it kind of reminds me of when I was a kid and I was thinking that book writing was everything. It's like you're so important because you have a book. And it's really not that at all. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing this video. You may think that your book makes you important. It makes you be seen. People notice you. It's kind of like, okay, I don't know, pick the job that you feel is the lowest on the totem pole. And then say a doctor. You feel like you're just as important as a doctor, right? We hold doctors in regard, right? Or attorneys or lawyers, or, you know, we hold all these different titles in regard. And so when you write a book, you're feeling on that level like, oh, I have arrived. And in thinking back to my childhood, I there was this feeling that if you did do it, if you managed to publish something, and people were listening to you, it's like, oh my gosh, you published a book, you put a whole group of something together, words, poems, short stories, and you actually managed to get it in book form and then sell it. And so before I was born, so 1968, so before that, it just seemed like it was unattainable that, people, if you were able to get a book published, it's like you knew the magic words, you had the sauce, so to speak, and then you were the expert for publishing books because you had figured it out. And it's just that, a lot of people were not publishing books. And it was like, it was an honor or a privilege if you had a book. It was kind of like, if you were on the radio, or, if you managed to get on television, just kind of a sidebar, back in the day, if you actually had a radio in your house, that was so wonderful. And if you actually had a TV, that was even better. Then when color TV came out, if you had a color TV, oh my gosh, then there was the VHS and Beta, and and then you had DVDs, and and all that. Then it went to Blu-ray, and so as you advanced in the different things that came out, and your household had those things, then you were considered rich, or more important, so to speak. So if you didn't have those things, it was kind of like, I don't want anybody to know, right? It's like you go over to your friend's house and they have those things. It's like, wow, they must be really rich because they have a VCR at their house, right? And, they were basically just, struggling like everybody else in the neighborhood. So books is kind of the same thing. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, you did it. And that same attitude, that same thinking kind of carries over today. It's just like the same people that were publishing books back in the day are publishing books now. So the importance of it is, there's this weight of it, this thing that, if you do get published, you are accomplished, you are smart, you are brilliant, you know how to speak, you know how to talk well, right? And so, you can just kind of like throw all that aside because, as you know, It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be where, you don't have to prove to us that you're a genius, that you're important, because you are important. I just gave you those scenarios because, for me, I know books go way back to that thinking, so that when you tell somebody that you're a published author, there's this thinking that goes with it. Now that I have several books under my belt, I'm thinking this is so easy. But as a kid, it was like, oh my gosh, and then you do it. And then, like I said, here come the applause and the thinking that you are important, that you are smart, that you are a genius, that you managed to publish this work. So, if you are from that generation, or it has been instilled in you or impressed upon you that people that write books are important, even though you haven't written a book yet, it doesn't mean that you aren't important. It just means that you haven't written the book yet. Um, it means that you just got to do what you got to do, right? Now that I know what I know that it doesn't matter that I don't have a formal education. It doesn't matter that I don't speak properly sometimes, because I know that there's help in the background. So I can write whatever I want to write, I can say whatever I want to say, and then there's people, there's a support system that can help me with all the things that I don't know. So, um, just know that it's okay if you don't know everything, okay? Because we're all learning, and as times have changed, the thinking has changed. But some of us carried over that thinking from when book publishing was not attainable. But it is. It is. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing this video. Take care.